She also sat by my side as I raised my hand and was sworn in as a member of Congress on behalf of Michigan's 11th District to the 116th session of Congress. Brogan helped send a message to the country that a new Democratic majority had come to Washington to protect America's children and to get our country back on track. 7 years later, that little girl who carried her pink coin purse everywhere she went, soliciting small dollar donations from her friends and neighbors to send her cousin Haley to Congress, is now the talented, brilliant, beautiful young woman who fills our lives with joy and hope. And this weekend, she accomplishes a major feat as she graduates from high school and begins her next chapter. Brogan was born in Michigan's 11th District and raised along California's Central Coast. She is smart, funny, down-to-earth, and dynamic, no matter what gets thrown her way. At a young age, she taught herself how to drive on her grandfather's farm, and she hasn't stopped running circles around us since. That's the Michigan grit in her blood. Brogan is also a star athlete. She found her passion in lacrosse and recently took her high school all the way to the California State Championships. She scored 7 goals in the semifinals, secured a coveted spot in the Northern California All-Star Game, and led her team to victory. Brogan knows how to win, and she does it gracefully, always looking out for her teammates and making sure everyone around her shares in success. Brogan is the rock in our family, constantly defying expectations and making us proud. She sets her mind on her goals and works hard to achieve them. Nothing gets in her way. It has been such a treat to watch her grow into the dedicated and determined young lady she is today. We are so excited for Brogan to pursue her dreams this fall, attending Santa Barbara City College with the plan to transfer to USSB and become an entrepreneur, just like her mother. It's only a matter of time before she takes the whole world by storm. We know that achievements like this never happen on their own. And so I want to congratulate my dear first cousin, Chloe Delata, and Brogan's father, Jay, on this important milestone in your lives. You have raised an exceptional daughter, and for that, you deserve all the praise we have. Brogan, from your mom and dad, to your lonkel Brendan, to Granberry Marcy and Gramps, and Auntie Maria, to your cousins Blake and Haley, we are so proud of you. You are the pride and joy of this family. You are our future, and we can't wait to see all you accomplish. We've always been at each other's sides, through thick and thin, and your cousin Haley will always be there for you, no matter the circumstances. I wanted to take a moment in this storied chamber to recognize your accomplishments, Brogan, and to write your achievements into our country's history books. Congratulations on this milestone. I love you, and I cannot wait to see you soon. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Crank, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, this Memorial Day, I rise to remember and to honor our brave servicemen and our servicewomen who've made the ultimate sacrifice answering the call to defend our great nation. Whether it's the men and women who helped us gain our independence from the British throne in the Revolutionary War, or the men and women who fought bravely against the Japanese imperialism, we owe all of these men and women a debt of gratitude. And I hope that we in this chamber rise to the occasion and that we continue this tradition of this country, recognizing and honoring the memory of those who gave their lives so that we could have this liberty and freedom that God entrusted to us in this nation. You know, just this year, we lost a young soul who was stationed in my district, a gentleman from Kentucky, Staff Sergeant Benjamin Pennington. He gave his life in service to our country. Ben courageously answered the call to protect us from those who sought to do us harm. And his sacrifice is a grave and sobering reminder of the dangers that our men and women in uniform face across the globe each and every day. Just like our police officers and our first responders, they walk out the door to deploy, sometimes a very long deployment, sometimes 9 months, 11 months, and they don't know if that's the last time they'll see their spouse or their daughter or their son. We must remember this sacrifice. Service members like Benjamin remind us that Memorial Day is not only a day to mourn our fallen, but a deeply personal day for our military families and for our loved ones who bear the everlasting burden. It's not about barbecues. It's about remember those who gave their lives. Mr. Speaker, I ask you to join me in thanking and honoring those who have served our great nation. Thank you, and I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Latimer, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to salute the men of the American Legion Post 128 in Rye, New York, for their patriotism and their true sense of civic duty. This post, comprised of veterans of military service, is just one part of the American Legion Department of New York, and it is led by Commander Fred DeBarros and Adjutant Tim Moynihan. And their commitment to American values will be on display this Memorial Day weekend as they host the annual parade and ceremony on the Village Green in Rye. The ceremony will feature a presentation of the annual Americanism Award, this year to a deserving Rye resident, Laura Pellegrini, along with high school students who have participated in the annual essay contest. The Post members last weekend placed American flags at the graves of veterans at Greenwood Union Cemetery, and every year they also conduct the Veterans Day services on the Village Green in November, and also a used flag disposal ceremony and other patriotic recognitions. From the floor of the House of Representatives, we acknowledge and recognize the American Legion Post 128 and the Ladies Auxiliary for their service to city and to country. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to celebrate the life and accomplishments of my predecessor, Congressman Eliot Engel, who passed away on April 10th, with particular focus on his representation of Bronx and Westchester and his leadership on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. A product of the Bronx, Eliot was a fixture in New York politics for as long as I knew him, and zealously represented the diverse constituencies that characterize Metro New York, at various times the Bronx, Westchester, and Rockland counties. Originally winning election as a third-party candidate, he first served in the New York State Assembly from 1977 to 1988, and thereafter as a member of Congress for the Bronx, Westchester, until 2020. Eliot supported liberal policies at home. He fought vigorously to protect Kosovar Albanians and for the United States to recognize Kosovo as an independent nation. Last week in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, at the urging of my colleague Richie Torres and the leader Brian Mast and the ranking member Greg Meeks, we passed a bill to honor Congressman Engel's life and legacy by renaming the U.S. Chancellery in Pristina, Kosovo, the Eliot L. Engel Building. While naming a building for someone will never replace having them in the room with you, it is my hope that this effort will allow his work, his leadership, and his legacy to live on for years to come. May his memory be a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Siscomani, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to congratulate the Wilcox High School softball team on winning the 2026 2A state championship title. The number 5 Wilcox Cowgirls defeated the number 2 Bullhead City Mojave Accelerated with a score of 5-3 to claim the championship and finish the season with an impressive 16-3 record. This victory marks the Cowgirls' first state softball title in 16 years, an accomplishment certainly to be celebrated. This championship didn't come easy, though. On their way to the game, the team's bus broke down. But the Cowgirls didn't let this setback get in the way of the most important day of the season. Instead, they crammed into parents' cars to make it to the game and made it on time and prepared to play their absolute best. During the game, Wilcox put 1 on the board in the 4th inning and maintained their lead, scoring 1 in the 5th and then 3 in the 7th. Freshman pitcher Hattie McCumber earned the MVP of the 2A tournament after an impressive 7 strikeouts and 2 runs. To Coach Trevor Ward, the whole team, and everyone who made this win possible, congratulations. Your hard work has made your school and your community very, very proud. Cowgirls, enjoy your victory. You've earned it. Here's to another successful season and many, many more to come. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to remember and honor a dear friend, Chris Sheaf. He and his beloved wife, Jackie, tragically and unexpectedly passed earlier this month. My wife, Laura, and I are deeply saddened by this loss. A loss to us personally and a loss to our entire community. Chris was a special person, a wise and thoughtful man who generously shared his time with people and the causes that he believed in as well. See, Chris devoted decades of his life to making the American dream a reality as a successful home builder. The safety, shelter, and financial security that comes from owning your home. Chris helped make that possible for so many people throughout his life. He was also a driving force in shaping Tucson's hospitality industry as a partner in the company that constructed one of the signature resorts that our desert community is famous for, Los Ventana Canyon Resort. And his work with organizations like Rio Nuevo, the Southern Arizona Home Builders Association, and the Tucson International Airport Authority was a true expression of how intentionally he cared about the Tucson community, which he called home for the past 50 years. Chris devoted his career to work and shape Southern Arizona, improving our community for those who live there today and for our next generation as well. He was a man of integrity, a man true to his word, and a man who you wanted close to you all the time. Chris and Jackie's love for the Lord was truly evident. They both always took time to greet each one of my kids and make them feel special. And I have, Mr. Speaker, 6 kids, so that took time every single Sunday when we saw them at church. They brought joy into every room they entered, and together they led a life marked by service and by passion. Laura and I are keeping the Sheaf family in our thoughts and our prayers as we all grieve this heartbreaking loss. We're grateful for all he gave to our community. He will be deeply missed, and his legacy will live on in the lives that he touched. Rest in peace, my dear friend.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Garcia, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to thank my former legislative director, Naomi Lake. Naomi is a Chicago native who worked in my congressional office since my first day in Congress in 2019. Naomi also worked on my first congressional campaign, so she dedicated almost 10 years to help me serve my constituents. When I was elected to Congress, she packed her bags and moved to Washington, D.C., excited to help me shape my work and represent our beloved Chicago. Over the years, she rose from legislative correspondent to legislative assistant to legislative director. She leaves my office as an LD who is appreciated by her team, admired by her peers, and respected by members, staff, and advocates alike. There's no task she doesn't do well. And Congresswoman Summer Lee is very lucky to have Naomi as her new legislative director. Naomi is a brilliant young woman, passionate about social and economic justice, and deeply interested in the impact that U.S. policies have on our relationship with other countries, particularly throughout the Americas. Her strategic policy mind has helped make my role as a member of Congress and whip of the Progressive Caucus more impactful. And she's always put her interest of working for people first. She's an exceptional thinker, a gifted writer, and a thorough editor who helped my team be more effective in expressing my policy positions and serving the residents of Illinois' 4th. She's a dedicated and intelligent advocate who cares deeply about our community, my team, and the progressive movement. Naomi has many talents beyond her role on the Hill. She is an experienced ballet dancer. She wakes up at the crack of dawn to row in the Potomac and as captain of her team. She has recently completed a half marathon, and while still managing a heavy legislative portfolio and leading our policy team. In addition, Naomi is the type of person that I always want on my team: generous, thoughtful, funny, and humble. Every congressional office would be lucky to have someone as talented and kind as Naomi. Whether discussing IMF surcharges, sanctions, or appropriations, I have always admired her sharp intellect, quick and calm strategic sense in high-stakes situations. Naomi, I am deeply grateful for your work, for the constituents of the 4th Congressional District, for our exceptional leadership in my office, and for consistently advocating for the needs of my constituents, working families across the country, and for humanity itself. We will miss you. Mr. Speaker, as we approach Memorial Day, I rise to honor the Aztec Eagles, known in Spanish as Escuadrón 201, a legendary fighter squadron of the Mexican Air Force whose members volunteered to fight alongside the United States during World War II. These brave fighters, 36 pilots and 264 ground personnel, including electricians, mechanics, and radio men, answered the call to defend freedom and served in the Pacific Theater. 7 of those pilots made the ultimate sacrifice. The Aztec Eagles were part of the Mexican Expeditionary Air Force, which assisted the Allied war effort and were attached to the 58 Fighter Group of the U.S. Air Force. They flew more than 90 combat missions and played a critical role in the liberation of Luzon in the Philippines in 1945. For their heroism, they were awarded the Philippine Presidential Unit Citation, the Philippine Legion of Honor, the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. Today, we remember the Aztec Eagles with gratitude and pride. Their courage, determination, and sacrifice and commitment to freedom will never be forgotten. I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Van Epps, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I stand today to honor the Tennessee National Guard, not just for their strength and readiness, but for their extraordinary volunteer spirit. I know the sacrifices you make to keep our country safe, and our nation is grateful. I recently had the honor of attending President Trump's roundtable on the Memphis Safe Task Force. I am beyond impressed with the work of this task force and am grateful for the Tennessee National Guard's role in making Memphis safe again. In 2024, Memphis had the highest rate of violent crime per capita, including elevated rates of murder, robbery, aggravated assault, and property crime. As of March 20th, 2026, the Memphis Safe Task Force has made 7,342 arrests, including 44 for homicide, 812 for controlled substances, 6,402 for firearms violations, and 94 for sex offenses. The task force has also returned 142 missing children and recovered 1,023 illegal firearms. Because of President Trump's involvement, the crime rate in Memphis dropped drastically in 2025 compared to 2024, with a 26% decrease in murders, a 22% decrease in aggravated assaults, a 31% decrease in robberies, and a 48% decrease in carjackings. Federal, state, and local partners have demonstrated what is possible through strong coordination, with Memphis serving as a model of successful partnership. The results would not have been possible without the Guardsmen who have stepped up to help patrol our communities and keep Americans safe. Thank you for creating a place for families to thrive, businesses to succeed, and workers to make a good living. I also want to recognize the Tennessee National Guard for its actions during Winter Storm Fern. As an active member of the National Guard, I am proud of how these men and women stepped up when Tennesseans needed them most. Across 15 states, more than 5,300 National Guard members assisted in the aftermath of these storms. In Tennessee alone, 170 soldiers and airmen assisted stranded motorists, transported first responders, delivered critical supplies, and cleared debris. And their assistance was invaluable. Tennessee Guard members logged more than 10,000 man-hours across multiple mission types, demonstrating both scale and commitment. They conducted 44 cut and toss missions, clearing nearly 960 miles of critical routes and infrastructure to keep roads accessible and communities connected. They completed 757 civilian assistance missions, 601 medical and personnel transport missions, and 497 health and welfare checks, ensuring that vulnerable residents were safe and that first responders could continue their life-saving work. This response reflects the National Guard's unwavering commitment to serving communities, even at great risk to themselves. The Tennessee National Guard's volunteer spirit reflects the very best of Tennessee: courage, resilience, and selflessness. They remind us that service means a willingness to answer the call at any time, and that's exactly what these brave men and women do every single day. Lastly, I'd like to recognize the National Guard Association of Tennessee for its continued commitment to supporting National Guard members. For over 100 years, you have supported military preparedness and the well-being of National Guardsmen. Thank you for serving those who serve. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Illinois, Ms. Ramirez, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor and celebrate the educators of Chicago High School for the Arts, known across our city as Chi Arts and located in Illinois 3. As Chicago's first and only public arts high school, Chi Arts develops the next generation of diverse artists while preparing our students with a comprehensive education for the next steps in their life. The teachers of Chi Arts believe that the arts belong to everyone, regardless of background, zip code, or status. And thanks to their leadership and thanks to their organizing, Chi Arts remains open today. Like many public schools around the country, Chi Art faced the threat of closure last year. But it was the teachers who organized the Save Shy Arts campaign alongside parents and community leaders to protect this gem in our community. Today, as Shy Arts faces new threats to its unique existence, teachers and parents are organizing to protect their school. A center where our young artists can grow, our young artists can learn, guided by teachers and artists who believe in the power of art to bring our communities together. So on behalf of Illinois' 3rd Congressional District, it is my sincere honor to commend the teachers, los maestros of Shy Arts, for their unwavering commitment to Chicago's young people and to public quality education for all. Seguimos en la lucha. And Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Marcos Ceniceros for his unwavering commitment to labor rights, racial and economic justice, and worker solidarity. Born and raised in Chicago by immigrant parents from Mexico, Marcos witnessed firsthand the struggles and resilience of working-class families fighting for a better life. It was these early experiences that motivated his 15 years of organizing for social and economic justice. As campaigns organizer of the Grassroots Collaborative and a community organizer with the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, Marcos organized with young people and community members to defend our immigrant communities, expand access to education, deliver government budgets that center working people, and build community power. Today, Marcos serves as the executive director of Warehouse Workers for Justice, where he organizes with warehouse workers across Illinois to win safer workplaces, fair wages, and dignity on the job. Marcos' leadership reminds us of the power of solidarity. And so on behalf of Illinois' 3rd Congressional District, it is my privilege to commend Marcos Ceniceros for his dedication to building working peoples across our intersections. Que vivan los trabajadores, que vivan los inmigrantes siempre. Thank you and congratulations, Marcos. And Mr. Speaker, I rise to recognize Sonia Cortez, whose career and leadership have reshaped our school communities in Illinois' 3rd's Logan Square community. As a young girl in Puerto Rico, Sonia learned at an early age the transformational power of education. After moving to Logan Square, she saw firsthand how systemic and persistent inequities in schools left so many students without the resources and support that they need to be able to thrive. Rather than accepting those circumstances, Sonia changed them. You see, for over 20 years, Sonia served as a parent mentor coordinator with Palenque Alasane, training parents to become partners in their schools, advocates in their communities, and leaders in education. Today, more than 30 parent mentors have earned their teacher assistant licenses, with 20 currently serving at Avondale-Logandale School, supporting the growth and the development of our community students. Last week, Sonia graduated her last class of parent mentors, marking a significant milestone in a long and impactful career that has changed lives, reshaped educational opportunities, and demonstrated the power of community in Logan Square and beyond. And so on behalf of Illinois' 3rd Congressional District, it is my honor to recognize the remarkable legacy of Sonia Cortez for decades of mentorship, leadership, and community building that have reshaped Logan Square and the city of Chicago. Gracias and felicitaciones, Sonia. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Washington, Mr. Baumgartner, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In honor of Memorial Day, I rise to recognize a true gentleman who lived a life of honor and service to the nation and the community of Spokane, Mr. Jack Daniels Holsclaw. Mr. Holsclaw was born in Spokane and from a young age demonstrated excellence. As a 15-year-old, he was the first African-American to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout in Spokane. Attending North Central High School, he excelled academically in sports and later attended both Whitworth College and Wash State University, where he played baseball for famed coach Arthur Buck Bailey. On October 5th, 1942, Jack enlisted in the Army as a private and later entered flight school. He trained at the Tuskegee Army Airfield in Alabama and received his wings and commissioned in the Army Air Corps in 1943. In December 1943, his squadron was shipped overseas to Italy, where he became part of the famed 332nd Fighter Group. The aircraft of the 332nd had distinctive red tails to differentiate them from other P-51 outfits, leading to the nickname Red Tails. Lieutenant Holsclaw fought his most memorable aerial battle on July 18, 1944. That day, all 4 squadrons of the 332nd Fighter Group, each composed of 16 P-51s, was providing protection for B-17's bombing runs on German targets. The group leader was forced to return to base due to engine problems, and Lieutenant Holsclaw, without being ordered, took over command. A German fighter force of nearly 300 Me-109s attacked the bomber formation. 3 squadrons stayed with the bombers, while Lieutenant Holsclaw, as flight leader of the day, took part in a mission. They were able to pursue, in certain circumstances in the battle, 11 German planes were shot down. Lieutenant Holsclaw shut down 2 Me-109s. The effective 332nd Fighter Group reaction allowed the bombers to hit their targets with no losses. For his actions in taking the lead on July 18, 1944, in downing 2 enemy aircraft, Jack Holsclaw was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. By December 1944, he had completed 68 combat missions. Captain Holsclaw returned to the United States in June 1945 and continued his service what became the United States Air Force. He would rise to the rank of lieutenant colonel. On December 31st, 1964, Lieutenant Holsclaw retired and received the Distinguished Service Medal for his accomplishments. Jack and his wife, Bernice, ultimately returned to Spokane, where he completed a second career in banking in 1983. Mr. Speaker, it is exemplary men like Lieutenant Colonel Jack Holsclaw who built the Air Force of today, and our nation owes him and men like him a debt of gratitude. And I would say, as a father of children that attend North Central High School, I hope that they one day grow up to be citizens like Lieutenant Holsclaw. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to celebrate the remarkable service of Phil Kozin, an 88-year-old Spokane resident who spent 25 years honoring our veterans with the solemn sound of taps. For 3,335 funerals at the Wash State's Veterans Cemetery, Mr. Kozin stood in all of weather to ensure every service member received a live personal tribute. He began this mission in 2001 when he refused to let a friend's funeral rely on a recording, choosing instead to play taps himself. In March, Mr. Kozin performed the melody for the final time, closing a quarter century of quiet, steadfast service. Though his bugle will now fall silent, the dignity he brought to each farewell will endure. Join me in honoring Phil Kozin for his devotion, his humility, and his unwavering respect for those who served our nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to recognize the extraordinary heroism displayed by a group of individuals from Spokane, including 4 remarkable teenagers whose quick thinking and selfless action saves a man's life on April 18th. While swimming at the Marabou Park Hotel pool in Spokane Valley, Ben Weigel, Weston Collins, and siblings Ray and Ethan Overby noticed a man unconscious in the water and immediately sprang into action. Together, they pulled him to safety, and Ray Overby began prompt administration of chest compressions. They were soon joined by hotel employees Tammy Hall and Donovan Bond, who assisted in performing CPR until first responders arrived on the scene. According to the paramedic captain who responded, the patient likely would not have survived were it not for the group's awareness, immediate response, and remarkable teamwork under pressure. In recognition of their life-saving efforts, these 6 individuals were honored by the Spokane Fire Commissioners. I am proud to recognize them for their courage and commend each of their exemplary actions here on the floor of Congress. As we approach Memorial Day, I also encourage families across the country to celebrate safely. May this inspiring story serve as a reminder of the profound difference ordinary people can make. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The gentleman's time has expired. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Michigan, Ms. Tlaib, for 5 minutes.
This week marks 61 years of Head Start, one of the most transformative anti-poverty programs in our nation's history. For more than 6 decades, Head Start has given millions of children a fair shot by providing early education, meals, health care, and support for working families. It showed that every child, no matter their zip code or income, that they mattered. But today, Republicans have cut and chronically underfunded this program, threatening the lifeline for families across the country. Instead of investing in billionaires and endless wars, we should be investing in our children. I'm calling on my colleagues to support and pass our Head Start for America's Children's Act as we mark 61 years of this successful program. This bill would expand, again, access to 11 million more eligible young children nationwide. 11 million children across our country are eligible, but there's not enough spots. We would also be raising wages for our educators and strengthening support services for our families. We all know that Head Start works, so let's invest in this program. It is an anchor, not only for the child, but the whole family. Over 3,000 people in Lebanon have been slaughtered since the start of the Israeli apartheid regime's brutal war in all of Lebanon. More than 1.2 million people have been displaced violently. That's over 20% of Lebanon's entire population. We cannot stay silent while innocent civilians are being exposed to white phosphorus bombs that melt flesh to the bone. Inaction is not an option, Mr. Speaker. That's why I'll be forcing a vote on War Powers resolution to end the U.S. support of Israel's indiscriminate bombings in Lebanon. We all know what doing nothing looks like, and we're witnessing right now a repeat playbook of the Israeli military's actions in Gaza. Entire families are being erased in Lebanon, villages and cities turned into rubble, and targeting of civilians have continued to be increasing, as well as the targeting of medics and journalists. The United States is not a bystander to these war crimes. It is an active participant. Our government is providing intelligence and coordinating strikes, and the American people are tired of watching their tax dollars fuel death, destruction, and endless war. They are tired of hearing that we don't have money for health care or child care at home, while watching U.S. bombs destroy hospitals and steal futures of children abroad. This War Powers vote is clear, and it's a moral choice. Do you stand for saving lives, or do you stand for endless wars? In the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we have some of the highest rates of poverty among our children. As of 2024, more than 9.7 million children have lived in poverty in the United States. That's a 154% increase since 2021. Imagine if our government invested in the well-being of our children like they invest in wars. Congress has the power and the money to end child poverty today, feed every single one of our children today, and make sure that every opportunity that they need to succeed is available today. Instead, we're debating $1 billion to Trump for a ballroom that no one asked for, while defunding and destroying federal programs that help our children get fed, clothed, housed, and educated. The hardship and food insecurity and health issues and instability that poverty causes is impacting families throughout my district and throughout our country. I'm calling on my colleagues to support Representative Jacobs and my End Child Poverty resolution and support our nation's most vulnerable population. With that, I yield.
The gentlelady yields. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Baird, for 5 minutes. Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Darrell Thomas, who passed away on May 13th of 2026, a proud U.S. Navy veteran. Darrell proudly served our Putnam County communities throughout his life. Darrell was a former member and president of the Putnam County Council. He served the 4-H community in numerous capacities and was a Hall of Fame inductee in 2021 and worked for 31 years as a 4-H extension agent for Putnam County. He also served on the Parks and Recreation Board, and for his service in his community, he was the recipient of the State of Indiana Sagamore of the Wabash Valley Award. Darrell is survived by 2 daughters and his many grandchildren. Thank you, Darrell, for your tremendous service to Putnam County and to our outstanding students, so may he rest in peace. Mr. Speaker, I rise to congratulate Lynn S. Taylor, the Ritter Distinguished Professor of Pharmacy at Purdue University, who recently received prestigious Research Ireland St. Patrick's Day Medal for 2026. This is an award given to permanent academic and industry leaders and researchers with strong Irish roots. The Irish leader, Tushu Michael Martin, said Professor Taylor is helping to shape the future of medicine and strengthen international relationships. Professor Taylor's research has been foundational for solubility-enabling technologies, helping develop life-saving treatments for various diseases like hepatitis C and cancer. She has become an international expert on drug formulation science, and her work will surely have an enduring impact on the world. I am so proud of this outstanding scientist in getting her recognition for her work. Mr. Speaker, I rise to honor the life of Richard McLean. Rich McLean was born and raised in Logansport, Indiana, served in the U.S. Navy from 1964 to 68, and graduated from Purdue University in 1970. Rich was an active member of his community, volunteering at his church and the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, the Neil Home Board, the Mental Health Association, and as the chairman of the Iron Horse Festival in 1985. He served the Indiana State House from 1994 to 2012, where he was known as Squeezer because he printed toothpaste squeezers during elections. He's survived by a loving family, his wife Barry, sons Jeff, Nate, and 5 grandchildren, Brant, Lauren, Clark, Katie, Sailor, and a great-grandson, Warner, as well as siblings and extended family. My prayers are with the family and friends of Rich, and may he rest in peace. Mr. Speaker, as Memorial Day approaches, I am reminded of those who I served with in Vietnam. 2 have names etched in the Vietnam War Memorial, Richard Fraser and Robert Thorne. I'd like to speak about the 2 of them today. We were in a convoy hauling supplies on the road to Quai Son. My unit, the 523rd Transportation Company, used 5-ton gun trucks mounted with 50 caliber machine guns in order to protect the convoys. These gun trucks were made as scrounged up armor. You could take an armor plate, then a layer of sandbags, and then another plate of iron plates that make them work. And we had to do with what we had. Richard Fraser was a gunner on a truck called Satan's Little Angel. He was killed in action in February 20th, 1971, during an ambush near DMZ in South Vietnam. Robert Thorne was a driver on a truck named the Proud American. I was riding with Robert on March the 3rd, 1971, when 2 B-40 rockets hit the truck. Robert Thorne steered the Proud American into a mountain bank rather than going over an embankment down to the river below, and that saved all of us. Unfortunately, Robert Thorne lost his life. He was 21, and he was this truck that I was wounded, and I lost my arm. There are no words to describe the loss of those men. I strive every day to honor their memory and their sacrifice and live my life as a testament to theirs. I love this country, and I feel duty-bound to keep America free and prosperous. On this Memorial Day, we honor those who fought and died so that we can live in freedom. We cannot forget the sacrifices of men like Robert and Richard. They saved my life and the lives of fellow soldiers. They are heroes, and their courage is an example to all of us. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. Keating, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life of Konstantinos Kosti Kostibas. Born on October 24, 1978, Kosti was a proud Texan who graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in International Studies from Baylor University and a Master of Arts in International Relationships from St. Mary's University. After graduating from Baylor University in 2002 with the rank of second lieutenant, Kosti served in the United States Air Force as an intelligence officer until 2006. Kosti continued to serve our country throughout his career, working in cyber operations at the Department of Defense. During his time with the U.S. Cyber Command, where he played a critical role in advancing our nation's cybersecurity interests, Costi was selected to serve as a Legislative Defense Fellow for the 2023 Department of Air Force Fellowship Program. My colleagues and I will forever be grateful for his years that he spent with our office. Never failing to be the first person in the office every morning, Costi not only brought his expertise in cybersecurity and intelligence matters, but also his steadfast work ethic. He also incorporated a wry wit and an unwavering commitment to improving the lives of all of those around him. He had the unique ability to easily connect with anyone he crossed paths with and make them instantly feel as though they were speaking to an old friend for life. Sadly, we lost Costi too soon at the age of 47 on April 22nd, 2026, after a hard-fought battle against glioblastoma. Above all, Costi was a devoted husband to his wife Megan and a proud father to his children John and Samantha. From his service in the U.S. Air Force and his years working for the Cyber Command to his time spent in Nebraska and Texas and Maryland, Costi will be deeply missed by all who had the good fortune of working with him and spending time with him over the years. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to honor Costi Kostybas, and I ask my colleagues to join with me in recognizing his commitment to advancing the safety and security of our country, as well as the positive light he was in the lives of so many. May his memory be a blessing. I yield back.
Gentleman yields. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Klein, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize an extraordinary coach, mentor, and pillar of the Roanoke community, Bill Pope, upon his retirement from Northside High School. For more than 4 decades as head coach and an incredible 46 years in total, Coach Pope has shaped generations of young men both on and off the basketball court. Under his leadership, the Northside Vikings achieved 680 wins, one of the highest totals in Virginia High School League history. His teams captured 17 district championships, 8 regional titles, and 3 state championships, including remarkable recent titles in 2019, 2023, and 2024. These achievements speak not only to his excellence as a coach, but to his consistency, discipline, and enduring commitment to his players. In recognition of his lasting impact, the school fittingly named its gymnasium in his honor, a testament to the legacy he's built and the lives he has touched. As he steps away from the game, we thank Coach Pope for his service, his leadership, and his unwavering dedication to his community. May his legacy continue to inspire future generations of student athletes. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize an extraordinary group of young women from Clark County whose teamwork and determination led them to victory in the Virginia High School League Class II state championship. The Clark County girls basketball team defeated Union 67-55 at VCU's Siegel Center and earned their second state title in 4 seasons and the third in program history. This 27-2 team was powered by the talent and unity of all their players. 5 players earned all Bull Run district honors, and standout senior Elena McCavish, the Class II Player of the Year, capped her career with over 2,200 points and a powerful performance in the title game. Teammates Anna Taylor, Paige McCavish, Savannah McCaw, Kendall Harmon, Haley Foltz, Aaron Demko, Emerson Kennedy, and Paige Stemberger also rose to the challenge. Coach Shad McCaw guided the team to a nearly flawless season, which earned him the Class II Coach of the Year honors from the VHSL and Basketball Coaches Association of Virginia. Please join me in congratulating the Clark County Eagles on their hard work, resilience, and success. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the John Handley High School boys basketball team on capturing the program's first state championship. Located in the city of Winchester and led by head coach Zach Harold Zook, along with assistant coaches Jason Combs, Trey Briscoe, Donald Finley, Terrell Hayden, and Michael Brown, handily defeated Hampton in the Virginia High School League Class 4 championship game. The team earned not only the program's first state title, but also the school's 50th state championship overall. Christian Dings led the way and was recognized as the Class 4 State Player of the Year with full support from teammates Isaiah Baxter, Will Braun Doohan, Javon Briscoe, Kyron Oglesby, Amari Brown, Silas Miller, Joaquin Pierce Gonzalez, Timothy Campbell, Asher Madison, Aaron DeChristopher, Keon Ulmer, and Zaquan Williams. Coach Harold Zook was also recognized as the Class 4 State Coach of the Year. I proudly commend this team for not only winning a state title, but for making history in Handley's 103-year legacy. Congratulations, judges. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from the Virgin Islands.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Presley, for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life of my dear friend, Chelsea Dalinar Hakawa. Chelsea and I grew up together in Chicago and attended Francis W. Parker School. She was my classmate and friend for 14 years. I admired Chelsea's effortless brilliance, basked in her artistic talents, her infectious laugh, and was most of all inspired by her kindness. Given her artistic talents, it was a surprise to no one that Chelsea became an artist, her love for music filling every corner of her life. She carried her vibrant passion for performance, travel, and the arts through every chapter of her life. I rise today for her beautiful family, Nick, Atreyu, Anoki, and Sunia. And I rise today for her many beloved family members and friends who spread as far and wide as her devotion to them. Her love for each of you is eternal. Wherever Chelsea went, joy followed. She was melody, music, magic. She lit up every room she entered with an unparalleled warmth and beauty. It is with a heavy but grateful heart that I remember my beautiful childhood friend. Our senior class song by Simple Minds was "Don't You Forget About Me." We sure won't, Chelsea. How could we ever? Mr. Speaker, I rise to honor the life and legacy of Brother Andrew Joseph Jr., a father, husband, advocate, and a good man. We first met several years ago at a protest demanding an end to police violence. He, alongside his wife and partner of 28 years, Deanna Joseph, had experienced unspeakable heartbreak when their 14-year-old son, Andrew Joseph III, was killed as a result of police misconduct. Mr. Joseph turned his pain into purpose and committed to organizing with Black Lives Matter grassroots for justice at the local, state, and federal level, including advocating for the passage of my legislation, the Ending Qualified Immunity Act, to hold law enforcement accountable when they violate our rights. Our collective fight for justice was strengthened by Mr. Joseph, and he will always be remembered for his dedication to uplifting community. In addition to his wife, Mr. Joseph is survived by his daughter, Deja, who recently graduated from Howard University with honors earlier this month. On behalf of myself, my family, and my team, I extend our deepest condolences. Ashe.
The gentlewoman yields. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. McKenzie, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and legacy of Hal Werner, President and CEO of the Lehigh Valley Humane Society, and to recognize his years of dedicated service to our community. Hal devoted his career to strengthening organizations that served others all across the Lehigh Valley. He helped advance the Lehigh Valley Humane Society's mission of animal rescue, rehabilitation, adoption, and community outreach, improving the lives of both animals and families throughout our region. His leadership reflected a deep commitment to compassion, service, and building stronger communities. Beyond his work at the Humane Society, Hal spent years serving nonprofit organizations focused on helping vulnerable populations and creating opportunities for others. Whether supporting families, strengthening community programs, or leading mission-driven organizations, he made a lasting impact on countless lives. Hal was deeply loved by his colleagues, staff, volunteers, and all those who knew him. We extend our deepest condolences to Hal's family, friends, and everyone at the Lehigh Valley Humane Society as they continue his work and honor his legacy. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Officer Stephen Schleig of the Easton Area School District for receiving the 2026 National Association of School Resource Officers Bridge the Gap Award. This prestigious national recognition honors school police professionals who demonstrate exceptional leadership, mentorship, professionalism, and dedication to students and their communities. Officer Schleig was specifically recognized for his commitment to supporting at-risk youth and helping build positive relationships that strengthen school communities. As a graduate of the Easton Area School District, Officer Schleig now serves in the same schools that helped shape his own life. Through initiative focused on school mentorship, outreach, and community engagement, he has worked to strengthen the bond between schools, families, and law enforcement. His commitment to service extends beyond the classroom and reflects the important role that mentorship and compassion play in keeping students safe and supported. I congratulate Officer Schleig on this well-deserved national honor and thank him for his continued dedication to students, families, and the Easton community. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Coach Sue Butz-Staven of Emmaus High School as she celebrates 50 years of extraordinary leadership and excellence in field hockey. For 5 decades, she has helped shape generations of student athletes both on and off the field. As the winningest high school field hockey coach in the entire nation, her teams have earned district and state championships, set records, and built one of the most successful programs in scholastic sports. But numbers alone do not tell the whole story. Her impact can be measured through the countless young women she has mentored, encouraged, and helped prepare for success in athletics, academics, and life. For 50 years, Coach Butz-Staven has embodied the values of dedication, perseverance, and leadership. Her influence has extended far beyond the pitch and left a lasting mark on Emmaus and communities around the Lehigh Valley. I congratulate Coach Butz-Staven on this incredible milestone and thank her for the lives that she has changed through her commitment to her athletes. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Officer Hunter Strom of Bethlehem Police Department for his commitment to protecting members of our community. While off-duty at a local gas station, Officer Stom noticed an elderly woman who appeared distressed while speaking on the phone near a Bitcoin machine. Trusting his instincts and recognizing signs of a potential cryptocurrency scam, he stepped in to check on her well-being. Because of his quick thinking, Officer Stom was able to stop the victim from sending additional money to scammers and help prevent further financial loss. He then ensured that the incident was properly documented and that the individual received assistance. Officer Stom's actions serve as a reminder that protecting and serving is more than a profession. It is a commitment that extends far beyond the badge and beyond the call of duty. As a member of the bipartisan Stop Scams Caucus, I know how important it is to raise awareness and protect our communities from increasingly sophisticated scams that target vulnerable individuals. I commend Officer Stom for his dedication to keeping the people of the Lehigh Valley and Pocono safe. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and legacy of Daniel G. Vuchter, Sr. He is a lifetime entrepreneur, community leader.
Gentleman's time has expired.
and the owner of the Allentown Fairgrounds Farmers Market. With that, I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from the Virgin Islands, Ms. Plaskett, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in celebration of Caribbean American Heritage Month, a month of honoring the immeasurable contributions of Caribbean Americans to the fabric of this nation, contributions that have shaped our politics, our culture, our arts, and our very understanding of what it means to fight for justice. Now, every month I usually try and bring so many different individuals of Caribbean American heritage who come from many walks of life. But this month I want to focus on the accomplishments of Caribbean American women, their accomplishments, their struggles at the highest levels of government, at the highest levels of politics that are shaping and have shaped this country. I stand here as a proud daughter of the United States Virgin Islands, a territory whose people carry within it the full weight and beauty of Caribbean culture. I'm honored to serve alongside my sister, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke of Brooklyn, New York, the daughter of Jamaican immigrants who've spent her entire career championing the rights of working families, immigrants, and communities of color with a tenacity that reflects the very best of the Caribbean tradition. I'm honored to serve alongside Congresswoman Frederica Wilson of Florida, a proud Bahamian American whose bold leadership and refusal to be silent in the face of injustice has made her a force in this Congress and a hero, a shero in her community. And of course, we remember the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas, the daughter of Jamaican immigrants, who for 3 decades was one of the fiercest advocates of this Congress, as Congress has ever known. These women do not simply represent Caribbean Americans, they embody the excellence that our communities demand of them. The story we continue to write did not, of course, begin with us. It began on the islands themselves, with women like Queen Brefu, an Akwamu woman enslaved on St. John in the Danish West Indies, who in 1733 helped lead one of the earliest slave revolts in the Americas. It continued with Queen Nanny of the Maroons in Jamaica, a leader of a community of formerly enslaved Africans who waged war against the British Empire and won, seizing their freedom and building their own society. That spirit of self-determination is the spirit of Caribbean Americans carrying this day in this country. It continued with Shirley Chisholm, the daughter of immigrants from Barbados and Guyana, who in 1968 became the first Black woman elected to the United States Congress, and who in 1972 had the courage to run for Congress. It continues with Claudia Jones, a journalist, activist, and visionary whose legacy endures. Cicely Tyson, who wasn't just an actor, but a great civil rights leader, an advocate, not confined to the roles that were assigned to her. And of course, Kamala Harris, the daughter of a Jamaican father, who shattered what many believed to be an unbreakable ceiling when she became the first woman and the first Black American to serve as Vice President of the United States. Vice President Harris carried the hopes of Caribbean Americans with her into the White House, a reminder that children of the Caribbean do not simply contribute to this nation, we lead. She dared to lead a nominating party, 107 days. Only a Caribbean woman could do that. Caribbean leadership extends across the region. Dame Mary Eugenia Charles of Dominica became the first woman to serve as the head of government in the Caribbean. The Iron Lady, as she was known, bent to no outside pressure. Dame Perlette Louisi of St. Lucia, Dame Cynthia Mother Pratt from the Bahamas, of course Ruby Rouse of the United States Virgin Islands, and now Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, who stands today as one of the most consequential leaders in the world, reshaping global conversations. When people say we're not ready for a Black woman president, a Black woman governor, or CEO, my brothers and sisters, we've been doing it all along. We just need the support for the titles that we already deserve. I want to wish all of my brothers and sisters of Caribbean descent happy Caribbean American Heritage Month. I yield back.
Gentlewoman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Mann, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to discuss the importance of the Build America 250 Act, the Surface Transportation Reauthorization that the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is marking up today during National Infrastructure Week. This marks 70 years since President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956 into law. For Kansans, that anniversary carries special meaning. President Eisenhower understood that a strong transportation network was essential to the safety, commerce, and unity of the United States. His vision helped connect a growing country and gave future generations a highway system that changed the way Americans live, work, and move. 70 years later, America's transportation needs have changed, but Congress' basic responsibility remains the same. We have a duty to maintain a surface transportation system that allows people and goods to move across this country safely, efficiently, and reliably. The entire House Transportation Infrastructure Committee has been hard at work for over a year to ensure the Build America 250 Act delivers for American travelers. This is one of the few major bills we take up on a regular schedule, and it has historically been bipartisan because every district in America relies on roads, bridges, rail, airports, and freight movement. That is especially true in rural America. In the Big First, our district alone has more than 83,000 miles of road, 4,000 miles of railroads, and more than 100 airports. That infrastructure supports the farmers, ranchers, producers, manufacturers, small businesses, schools, hospitals, and families that keep our community strong. We also have 11,172 bridges, more than any other congressional district in the country. That is why I'm especially proud of our legislation provides the largest investment in our nation's bridges in American history. When a highway is unsafe, a rural bridge is closed, or a freight route is inefficient, the consequences are real. A farmer may have to take a longer route to get grain to market. A rancher may face higher costs of moving livestock. A manufacturer may struggle to ship products on time. A first responder may lose valuable minutes reaching someone in need. Transportation policy in Washington has a direct effect on the daily lives of Kansans. That is why this reauthorization must get back to the basics. In recent years, Washington has created new programs, expanded existing ones, and spent money our country does not have. This surface transportation bill, on the other hand, focuses our limited federal resources on the fundamental needs of our transportation systems: roads, bridges, freight movement, safety, and the infrastructure that helps Americans get where they need to go. One of my top priorities is maintaining and expanding flexibility in federal highway programs. States are best positioned to understand their own transportation needs. Kansans should not be forced into the same mold as New York or California. A rural road that carries wheat, cattle, school buses, and ambulances serves a very different purpose than a major urban corridor. Federal policy should respect those differences. The Build America 250 Act provides states and local communities with the flexibility to direct resources where they need it most. It also helps ensure taxpayer dollars are used effectively instead of being tied up in Washington-driven mandates that do not fit local realities. Finally, we are addressing the long-term solvency of the Highway Trust Fund. The trust fund was created to provide a dedicated revenue source for the construction of the interstate highway system. It was built on user-pays principle, with federal fuel taxes serving as the main funding source. That principle is still the right one, but the current model is no longer sustainable. American vehicles have become more fuel efficient, and some Americans even drive electric vehicles. That is why our legislation updates the Highway Trust Fund, ensuring owners of electric vehicles still contribute to the maintenance of the roads that they also rely on. We are preserving the conservative idea that those who use the system help pay for it, while modernizing the way we keep our trust fund solvent and focused on our core mission. Mr. Speaker, America is a nation that builds. That spirit helped President Eisenhower, a proud Kansan, leave a transportation legacy that still serves our country today. The House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is honoring that legacy by focusing on the basics, respecting states, spending taxpayer dollars wisely, and strengthening the roads, bridges, and freight networks that keep America moving. I urge my committee colleagues to support the Build America 250 Act going forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Magaziner, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, generations of Americans fought and bled for civil rights, to make the United States of America a place where everyone's voice can be heard, regardless of the color of their skin. But in the last few weeks, at the urging of the President, the Supreme Court effectively overturned Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which had been the law of the land for decades. And since then, Republican governors and state legislatures across the South have been racing to break up majority black and Hispanic congressional districts. What a horrible state of affairs to see the law that Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and John Lewis and Lyndon Johnson fought for cast aside. What a shameful way for Republicans to try to win elections by breaking up majority black and Hispanic districts, to try to rob those voters from being able to elect their chosen representatives in Congress. Now, these Republican politicians redrawing the maps in state after state claim with a straight face that they are not engaged in racial gerrymandering, only partisan gerrymandering. Well, then why is it that only majority black districts are being split up in Alabama and Tennessee and Louisiana and potentially South Carolina and other states? It is only the black vote in those states that they are trying to dilute. Republicans, you see, have given up on trying to make the case to people of color in those states that their policies are better. They have given up on trying to persuade people and win elections through campaigning. Instead, they have resorted to splitting up those communities to rob them of their chosen representation in Congress. What a shameful way to try to cling to power. John Adams, our second president, wrote that the House of Representatives should be, in miniature, a reflection of the people at large. And yet, when it comes to the Republican side of this House, their own former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, admitted that they do not look like America. He said that his Republican Congress looks, quote, like the most restrictive country club in America. Now, the Democratic Party is not perfect. We don't always get it right. There have been times, occasionally, when I thought that most of my Democratic colleagues were wrong on an issue, and I voted with the Republicans. But I am a Democrat because the Democratic Party is the one party left that is still committed to government of, by, and for the people. 70% of the House Democratic caucus are women, people of color, or LGBTQ. I am none of those things, but when I look at the two sides of this chamber, I know what side I want to be on. I want to be on the side that looks like America. I want to be on the side with an inclusive vision of America that wants every American's voice to be heard, not the side that is cheering the destruction of the Voting Rights Act. I want to be on the side that honors the legacy of King and Parks and Lewis and other civil rights heroes, not the side moving at breakneck speed to try to break up majority-minority districts and rob people of color in our country from their chosen representation. I don't care what your politics are. There is no honor in winning that way, and it's not good for America. To my Republican colleagues, think about your own legacy. If you refuse to speak out against the racial gerrymandering your party is engaged in, if you stay silent, history will see you for who you are. Now, at times like this, it can be easy for people of good faith to become discouraged. But I still believe in the fundamental goodness of America. I still believe that the politics of division cannot prevail over the politics of hope. And as long as we are willing to do the work, we will move past this troubling chapter in our nation's history, and our country's better angels will prevail. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from New Mexico, Ms. Stansberry, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, Memorial Day, Mr. Speaker, on Memorial Day, we pause to honor the brave Americans who gave their lives in service to this nation, those who wore the uniform knowing that freedom and liberty always carries a cost. Today, I rise in remembrance of the fallen from my home state of New Mexico, a state with a proud military tradition where generations of service members have answered the call to serve from communities large and small, from tribal communities, rural towns, land grants, and our great military installations. Because in New Mexico, military service is woven into the fabric of our communities and the identities of our families. Families sacrifice together, spouses hold households together through deployments, children grow up learning resilience and service. Veterans continue serving long after they have hung up the uniform. And on Memorial Day, we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. This year, we are also mourning the 13 American service members killed during the Iran war. Americans who stood in harm's way on behalf of this country and paid the ultimate sacrifice. We remember Captain Cody Cork, Sergeant First Class Noah Tegens, Sergeant First Class Nicole Amore, Sergeant Declan Cody, Major Jeffrey O'Brien, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzan, Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, Major John Klinner, Captain Ariana Savino, Technical Sergeant Ashley Pruitt, Captain Seth Koval, Captain Curtis Angst, and Technical Sergeant Tyler Simmons. We honor these brave men and women. They were sons and daughters, husbands and wives, friends, neighbors, teammates, and leaders. And behind every fallen service member stands a family whose life will be forever changed. To the Gold Star families in New Mexico and across this nation, we see you, we honor you, and we carry a solemn responsibility to remember your loved ones, not just on Memorial Day, but every single day. Memorial Day is a sacred reminder of the human cost of war and the extraordinary courage of those willing to defend this nation, even at the highest cost. And as we honor the fallen, we also recommit ourselves to supporting our veterans and military families who continue carrying the burdens of service today. That means ensuring veterans can access care through a strong VA system. It means supporting our military families who endure repeated deployments and long separations. It means investing in the service members who are stationed today in places like Kirtland Air Force Base in my district. And it means never forgetting the debt this nation owes to those who have served. So this Memorial Day, may we honor the fallen, not just with words, but with action worthy of their sacrifice. May we remember them, may we honor them, and may we strive every single day to build a nation truly worthy of what they gave for us. Amen. I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back the balance of her time. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse, for 5 minutes.
John F. Kennedy once said that there are few, if any, issues where all the truth and all the right and all the angels are on one side. Mr. Speaker, this is one of those issues. 5 years ago, I stood here on the House floor, just a few feet from where I stand today, as the worst nightmare of our framers and our nation's founders came to life. When rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, this citadel of democracy, attacked police officers, attempted to enter this chamber, and subvert the peaceful transfer of power. Donald Trump, on the very first day that he was sworn in his second term, pardoned 1,600 individuals who were convicted of crimes connected to January 6th. Felons, people who attacked police officers here on Capitol grounds. He pardoned them, gave them a get-out-of-jail-free card. And now, 15 months later, he again does the unthinkable. He sues the federal government that he administers, attempts to secure a $10 billion shakedown from the IRS. And when that fails, when he realizes that that isn't politically palatable, that the American people won't tolerate Donald Trump signing a $10 billion check of their hardworking money to himself, he dispatches the acting attorney general, his former personal attorney, to negotiate a so-called settlement. The outcome? A nearly $2 billion slush fund, where the Department of Justice will pay rioters who attacked our Capitol, these individuals. They will be paid with your money, the money of hardworking taxpayers. It is unconscionable. It is corrupt. And my Republican colleagues in this chamber do nothing about it. Where is the Speaker? Where is Mike Johnson? How can he look the officers who guard him every day, how can he look them in the eye, knowing that the people who attacked those officers will now be paid out of this Trump slush fund? It is outrageous. If there were ever a time for political courage, now would be it. There are a handful of Republicans who have said publicly that they abhor what this is. Just a handful. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, let me say it clearly, Mike Johnson owes the country an answer. Will he allow these rioters, these convicted felons who assaulted Capitol Police officers, will he allow them to be paid with taxpayer dollars out of this slush fund? And if not, what does he intend to do to stop it? We have a bill that's been introduced. I believe it'll be bipartisan. There are members of the U.S. Senate on both sides who are pushing to try to stop this from materializing. The Speaker could end it today. We're not asking him for much. Show a modicum of courage. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, for 5 minutes. Good morning.
Good morning, all. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise, a proud, unbought, unbossed, liberated Democrat. I rise today, Mr. Speaker, with a heavy heart. I rise as an ally of the LGBTQIA+ community. And I rise today to say just a few words about a member of that community who has gone on to glory. I rise to recognize the greatness and the brilliance of the Honorable Barney Frank, the first person as a member of Congress to voluntarily announce that he was a gay person. I rise to honor him and his brilliance because I had the preeminent experience of sitting right in front of him for a good deal of time on the House Financial Services Committee. The Honorable Barney Frank was brilliant in the sense that he knew the subject matter, but not only did he know the subject matter, he could present it with a great degree of eloquence and a certain amount of humor. He did it with style, and he did it without any notes. He never came to a hearing with notes. He could talk about the derivatives. He could talk about credit default swaps. He could talk about the 327s and 228s, all without a single note. I never saw him bring notes to one single hearing. He was brilliant, one of the great minds of our time, Mr. Speaker. I rise to salute him because he not only helped to shape the destiny of this country with Dodd-Frank, but also because he helped to shape the destiny of my path in Congress. He was a great mentor. He was someone that was well respected and that all of the members of the committee, regardless of party affiliation, looked up to. He truly had something special. I believe the French call it je ne sais quoi. Just something very unique, something that you just don't see in people generally speaking. So I'm proud to call him a friend. I'm proud to say that as a friend of the community, I, Al Green, an ally of the LGBTQIA plus community, I present the Pride Resolution annually in the Congress of the United States of America. And in so doing, I have made the Honorable Barney Frank an honorary sponsor of that resolution. I will continue to do so. In HRES 550, he was an honorary co-sponsor, and I shall continue in his absence to do so. Dear brother Barney Frank, you have made a difference, and that difference is known to many, unfortunately unknown to many others. But today, I rise to salute you and pay you the respect that you have earned as a great and noble American. God bless you, dear brother. Rest in eternal peace. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Nevada, Mr. Amadei, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some may be surprised to see me standing on the House floor today, including the person this speech is about. I felt it was necessary. Today is a bittersweet day for my longtime Chief of Staff, Molly Cutrona. It is her last day on Capitol Hill. Unfortunately, we are losing her talent, her leadership, and her feisty energy to the private sector. Although she is a native of Nevada's red-headed stepchild neighbor, California, no offense to my colleagues from there who don't hold her in the same regard that we do, we consider her, after her stint in this office, an honorary born-again Nevadan. Molly started in my office 8 years ago as my legislative director. Over those 8 years, I've watched her grow both professionally and personally, getting married and welcoming beautiful twins into the world. But don't be fooled, I have experienced plenty of bullying from her, disguised as advising. And I will say this once and only once, some of it may have been deserved. For those 8 years aren't defined by her antics. She will be remembered in these halls for her ambition, loyalty, creativity, confidence, and absolute dedication to her colleagues and to the people of Nevada's 2nd District. We are losing one of the best in the business. It has been an honor to work alongside her, and we have no doubt that she will continue to set a phenomenal example for her daughters Claire and Coco. Molly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything. And with C-SPAN as my witness, I apologize for allowing Ken, your successor, to rearrange your office. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess until noon today.
House will be in order. The prayer will be offered by the guest chaplain, Reverend Father Andrew Aziz, the Holy Apostolic Catholic Assyrian Church of the East, Gilbert, Arizona.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Heavenly Father, we stand before you, acknowledging your sovereign wisdom and mercy. We come to you at this hour, asking you to bless and strengthen our civil servants as they labor for our country and its citizens. Let their deliberations be inspired by love, compassion, and justice for all, serving the common good with integrity and a heart for the needs of every citizen without distinction of race or creed. In all things, O Lord, remind us of our dependence on your divine grace. Father, we ask you to bless our land, which has been a beacon of hope and a refuge for the oppressed and the marginalized. Grant freedom to the captive, relief to the suffering, and help us all to construct a better and safer tomorrow for our future generations of Americans. Amen.
The chair has examined the journal of the last day's proceedings and announces to the House the approval thereof. Pursuant to Clause 1 of Rule 1, the journal stands approved. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Luttrell. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Without objection, the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Hamed, is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Father Andrew Aziz, a devoted priest in the Holy Apostolic Catholic Assyrian Church of the East and a proud Arizonan. Father Andrew faithfully serves Arizona's thriving Assyrian American community. Thousands of strong families preserving one of the world's oldest Christian faiths and their ancient Mesopotamian heritage. Like so many who came to America seeking freedom, they've brought deep faith, tight-knit families, entrepreneurial drive, and true patriotism to our state. Through their churches and community work, they strengthen Arizona every day. I'm proud to thank Father Aziz for his dedicated service. Arizona is stronger because of leaders like him and the vibrant Assyrian American community he serves. Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time. Thank you.
The chair will entertain up to 15 further requests for 1-minute speeches on each side of the aisle. For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Thank you so much.
Gentleman's recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to recognize an extraordinary educator, mentor, and leader who has made a lasting impact at Magnolia Junior High School as assistant principal, Mr. Jason Hawkins. A proud alumnus of Side Creek High School, Texas A&M, and Lamar University, Jason began his teaching career with Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District, rising to assistant principal in 2011. After years of faithfully serving students and staff there, he stepped into the role as assistant principal at Magnolia Junior High in 2018, where his impact has continued to grow. In a world where strong role models matter more than ever, Jason represents the very best of public education. His leadership reminds us that the true measure of an educator is not only found in policy and test scores, but in the lives they influence, the confidence they build, and the example they set for future generations. Please join me in recognizing an exceptional assistant principal, educator, mentor, husband to Christina, father to Kayla and Cody, and a friend to everyone, Mr. Jason Hawkins. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to address an issue that is hitting families in every corner of our country, the unyielding rise of inflation. This month, the Consumer Price Index climbed to 3.8%, and that number isn't just a statistic. It shows up every time you fill your gas tank, check out at the grocery store, or open your utility bill. The pressure on your paycheck is real, and it is growing. Hardworking people are stretching every dollar, but instead of tackling this affordability crisis head-on, my colleagues here in the House continue to bring forward legislation that does nothing to lower costs. We're continually obsessed with culture war, emotional issues, choosing personal political gain over good governance, ignoring the prevailing crisis that is facing our country. It's time to give Americans the relief they deserve and restore affordability in everyday life. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
What purpose does the gentleman from South Carolina seek recognition? Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Veterans have courageously served America to protect freedoms we enjoy. They deserve the respect of American families and must never be forgotten. This week, House Republicans will vote on multiple bills to protect the constitutional rights of veterans and expand access to benefits they have earned through service. House Republicans believe that veterans deserve better, care they can access, veterans benefits delivered on time, a Veterans Administration that works for veterans, real support for mental health, housing, and education and employment. Memorial Day on Monday is a solemn day of remembrance for the Americans who have given their lives in service for our country, liberating dozens of countries from socialism and communism. In conclusion, God bless our troops as the global war on terrorism continues. Trump is reinstituting peace through strength, revealing war criminal Putin lies, insulting Trump and mocking Trump as the Chinese Communist Party trains Putin troops to murder Ukrainian civilians, where Ukrainian parents provide whistles at night to children to be heard as Putin attacks civilian apartment buildings. I yield back.
What purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition? Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, far too many Vietnam service members return home without the honor and recognition their sacrifice deserved. As Memorial Day nears, we remember brave service members from eastern North Carolina who made the ultimate sacrifice, such as Lieutenant Eric Parker Brights of Rocky Mount, a Navy pilot flying dangerous combat missions over Vietnam. On June the 4th, 1968, went down after his F-4 Phantom II was struck by enemy fire. Army Sergeant Willie Farmer Jr. of Pine Tops was only 21 years old when his life was tragically cut short after being struck by fragments from a downed helicopter rotor blade during combat operations on September 29, 1967. The stories of Lieutenant Brice and Sergeant Farmer reflect enormous sacrifice. We must always honor and remember our nation's heroes. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Maryland seek recognition?
And extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to supporting Congressman DeLuzio and Nell's bipartisan Railroad Retirement Fairness Act. This legislation eliminates outdated provisions of federal law that unfairly reduces railroad retirement payments for certain retirees and spouses who continue to work in non-railroad jobs after retirement. This is really important because we shouldn't be penalizing rail workers who choose to or sometimes have to continue working after retirement. Mr. Speaker, this is also a deeply personal issue for me. My father was a proud member of BLET Local 71 out of Philadelphia and drove trains for SEPTA for decades. He provided for our family, working mostly nights and weekends, and now relies on that hard-earned railroad retirement. I know firsthand the long hours and grit these jobs take on both railroad workers and their families, which is why I support this legislation to level the playing field and ensure hardworking rail workers keep their rightfully earned retirement benefits. I yield back.
What purpose does the gentlewoman from Colorado seek recognition?
Hi, Mr. Speaker.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today during Mental Health Awareness Month to talk about something that impacts every family in this country. Whether it's struggling ourselves or someone we know, all of us have been touched by mental health challenges. And far too often, people don't have access to the critical care that they need. For me, it was my brother, Justin. After years of struggling and falling through the cracks, we lost him to suicide in 2008. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about him. Justin was one of the smartest people I've known. He was passionate and avid reader, and he was working to become a history teacher. He had recently been married and had his entire life ahead of him. Through all of the moments of our lives, big and small, our family grieves that he is not with us today. The most important thing we can do to reduce the stigma is to tell our stories. And that's why I'm here telling mine. Because to the individuals and the families who are struggling in this country, I want you to know that you're not alone. And there are so many of us here in Congress who are not going to stop fighting for you. Thank you. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection.
Families across the country are struggling to afford groceries. The cost of eggs, milk,